Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I have a fun video for you guys, and I actually got this idea from Nicole Fisher, and she did one of these videos recently on her channel, so I will have her channel and her video linked below. So I figured I would just do my own version of this, and this is basically products you love, but there are things you would change about it. So every product I'm mentioning I absolutely love. There's just things that I think as I'm using it, like, well, I wish it had this, well, I wish it did that, I wish it did this. So I thought this was a super fun idea, and again, I will leave Nicole's video and her channel link below. I love her channel. I think she's awesome. And also, please excuse my hair today and everything else. I'm just having like one of those days where I just did not feel like doing my hair, and I just kind of wanted to film and just be bummy. So we're just gonna have a chit chat, you know. We're just gonna go through this really quick. So let's get started into the video. Really quick, I wanted to mention two items Nicole mentioned, because I don't want to like use all the items she mentioned, because it's pointless to do a video on the same items she did. But she mentioned both of these items, and I just wanted to touch base on them really quick because I agree with her 100%. First of all, she said the ColourPop concealer, that she wished she didn't go through it so quickly, and I have to agree with her 100%. I feel like I just got this. Well, I didn't just get this, but I feel like I've only used this like, I don't know, like 15 to 20 times, and I feel like it's already done. Like, as you can see, like the bottle looks pretty empty. And she mentioned her Tarte Shape Tape, how much she's used that and how much she's used it, and it hasn't even like, you know, made a dent. And I feel the same way. I have Tarte Shape Tape. I've had it for so long, and I feel like I have so much product left. So honestly, is it really even worth it? I mean, this is $6. Tarte Shape Tape is $27. But if you have to repurchase this, is it even worth it to keep spending the $6 when you can get Tarte Shape Tape for $27 and it lasts you so much longer? So honestly, I like this concealer and I'm going to repurchase it, but I just hate how fast I go through it. So that was one thing she mentioned. And also she mentioned the Pure palette we got in BoxyCharm, and I have to agree. And she says that she wishes there was a matte brown in here, and I have to agree 100%. I love these two shades. This highlighter is beautiful, and then this blush is gorgeous. I like using this as a bronzer. I can make it work, but definitely if this was matte, this whole palette would be a game changer for me, and I feel like a lot of other people would agree with that claim. So I had to mention that really quick because that's definitely something I wish would change. So now we're going to get into products that I wish I could change. First, I'm going to start with a foundation that is my holy grail foundation. This is my favorite foundation in the world. It's the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. And the only thing I wish I could change about this is I wish these two shades would come like in one bottle, because to get my perfect shade, I have to mix 102 Shell Beige and then 101 Classic Ivory. I have to mix these two because this shade's a little bit too dark on me and this shade's way too light. So if I could get the perfect mixture of these shades, then my whole life would be made. So other than that, I love everything about this foundation. I love the coverage. I love the matte finish. I love the bottle it comes in. So other than that, that's the only thing I would change. Next, I'm going to talk about a concealer that I recently picked up that I've really been loving, and I've been using it every day. I just hate how bad it oxidizes. I'm going to do a swatch for you guys, and then at the end of the video, we're going to come back to it. So this is what the shade looks like when you first apply it. So we will come back to this at the end of the video. I love this shade. I think if this was the shade it looked like, this would be a perfect shade match for me. I don't like a super bright under eye. I like more of a skin tone concealer, and that's just my preference. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I just love an under eye that kind of matches my skin tone. So if this didn't oxidize, this would be my perfect concealer shade. I know they have two other shades, but they're a little bit too light, so I'm going to have to just get them because obviously they oxidize and make a darker shade. But that was one thing I would change about this. Next, I'm going to talk about a highlighter, and this is from Jeffree Star Cosmetics. I know a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of controversy surrounding his brand, but I absolutely love this highlight. I think it's gorgeous. As you can see, the pan is huge. One thing I would change about this though is how big the pan is and how soft the product is. As you can see, mine has broken, and Thankfully, I was able to repress it, and I've never had an issue since. But I hate how big the pan is, because I've heard before, like, they make these super thin, like the product's super thin, and that's why it breaks so easily. I wish it was a smaller compact, but just a little bit thicker, so it wouldn't break as easily, because I don't even travel with this. This is definitely one of my favorite highlights, but I can't travel with it because I'm too afraid. So that would be the only thing I would change about this. Obviously, it's nice that you get a lot of product, but if it breaks and you can't use it, what's the point? So I'm going to talk about 2 eyeshadow palettes, and we received both of these in BoxyCharm. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Glam Metals palette from Crown Brushes, and I like this palette a lot. I think the shimmers are beautiful, but I honestly never reach for this because there's no transition shade. And usually when a palette doesn't have a transition shade, it's kind of a turn off for me, because I don't know, it's just like I have to go in and reach for something else. Granted, I can just use my bronzer, and I tend to do that a lot, but if it's not in the full palette, it's just a turn off for me. I would never buy a full shimmer palette. Like, I know full shimmer palettes kind of have been popular recently, but since I did get this in BoxyCharm, and you know, I do love it. I think the shades are beautiful. This is my favorite shade in the palette. It's called Wild Thing. It's super pigmented. It's gorgeous, but I just wish it had a transition shade. This black is, you could use this black as a transition shade, but it's really hard to use black, so that was one thing I would change about this palette. Next is the Soiree Diaries from Pure, and I like this palette. I use it quite often, but the one thing I don't like about this palette is there is not a shimmery light shade. So you get all these beautiful mattes. So I have no complaints about the matte shades in this palette. You get pretty much everything you need, but at the whole bottom row is shimmers, and as you can see, you get 3 dark shimmer shades. You get Dazzle and then Cosmo. I hate dark shimmery shades. They're just so hard to work with, and I feel like, why would you need 3 dark shimmery shades in a palette? I don't know. To me, I use Twinkle. That's the only shimmer shade I use in this palette. If this palette had a light shimmer shade, this would be a perfect palette for me. It would just be everything I need, because it's warm tones, a few cool tones, but I just hate the dark shimmer shades. You don't need 3 dark shimmery shades, and I feel like nobody uses those, so that would be the only thing I would change about that palette. And lastly is a nail polish, and this is my favorite top coat of all time. This is Sage Vite top coat. I love this top coat. I've been repurchasing this for so long. The only thing I hate about this top coat is you get about halfway through the bottle and you have to throw it away because it gets too gunky. You can't maneuver it on your nails, and it just gets so hard to work with, and it's just kind of a waste of money because you have to throw it away like not halfway, but like, I don't know, like when you get like about right here. And I don't know, it's just, it's hard because I love it so much, and I just obviously will repurchase it, but it is such a waste because it gets so gunky and nasty. So now we're gonna get back to this swatch. So look how much darker it got. I'm gonna re-swatch it again. So it got so much darker, and I'm gonna re-swatch it. So this, I'm gonna get my light. This is the first swatch, and then that's the second swatch. I don't know if you could see, but that's the difference. It's such a crazy difference of how much darker it really gets. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.
Drop the top, pop it, let it bang. Pop it, for this life I cannot change. Hit it is, deep off in the bank. Dipping nips, sweet like candy cane. Drop the top, pop it, let it